How well do you understand the unspoken resistance and energy coming from your potential buyers? Hey, it's Melanie Benson here, and I am an authority amplifier for expertpreneurs. And I want to talk about something that I've been noticing a lot, and it's been coming up for a lot of people, and that is this unspoken resistance. It might show up like hesitation. It may show up around fear. And sometimes the person that you're meeting with to potentially work with you doesn't even understand that there is something in the way of them choosing to get the resources they want. So I'm bringing you a little snippet of the zero friction sales system. I'm literally going to read a couple elements right out of the Zero Friction Sales guidebook. And I wanted to bring this in because as I was kind of finishing up some of the notes for the Zero Friction Sales workshop that I'm teaching for Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle, I realized, wow, there is a lot of places where like the way our mindset works and the way energy works can actually create more friction that stops a sale if we don't understand these parts. So I'm really excited to teach this in the workshop. And I'm going to bring this little bit to you because I think it might actually help you uncover a place where things are kind of sticky or maybe not flowing the way you hope. And it's creating a friction in your sales process. Now, there's two ways that mindset and energy work. There's the mindset and energy that we, as the person who's making the offering, who has the program or the service that we're bringing into the conversation. And there's the mindset and energy that's creating friction that the prospect is bringing in. So I'm just going to quickly cap both sides of those. And I want to talk first about our own energy because, and one of the things we're going to work with in the workshop is how do we resolve some of our own friction that comes in. And so I remember as early on in my career, having a lot of friction about selling, having my own, my own misconceptions, my own angst, my own concerns, because I deeply and truly wanted to help people. And I, of course, I still feel that way today, but I was very concerned about coming across pushy or manipulative. And I didn't want to make someone feel like I was trying to manipulate them into something that wasn't good for them. And I think, do you feel that way too? I think a lot of people feel that way. And secondly, I think I had some unresolved kind of like prosperity challenges of my own. And I was watching how they would play out and noticing that I oftentimes would project my own feelings of limitation and what I knew I could and couldn't do onto my clients. And it's something I worked with a lot of my mastermind members who I work one-on-one with and help them implement this process. And I was working with one of them not too long ago, and I was challenging her and I was saying, how much of the way you make an invitation to work with you is being filtered through your lens of what you would invest in yourself. And she was like, oh my God, that's true. If I start thinking that somebody can't afford it and I don't want to come across pushy, I make the decision for them. So one of the ways mindset and energy factors in from your side is your own relationship with money, your own relationship with investing in your growth. That's why I always tell people, if you're not investing in your own mentors and you're not investing in this kind of thing for yourself, whatever the thing is you offer, it's very hard to have the right energy to invite people to invest in you. It creates a little bit of an internal incongruency. So the mindset, the energy that you come in to the sales conversation that you create is highly influenced by your beliefs, your fears, your ideas, your attitudes about investing in growth. So let me just pull out a couple of little nuggets here that are in the guidebook. And this is a big one. So one of the things we do in the workshop is really get clear, like what is the thing that we're bringing in that's causing hidden or like unconscious blocks to being able to enroll more people, because we got to clear our own stuff out to have better results. And I've said this a million different times, but I'll say it again here. Like one of the big mindset shifts is to move away from this idea of selling. I know we're calling it a sales system because that's what we are doing. But if we could shift our attitude, especially if you have negative energy and the idea of selling kind of gets you twisted up, I want you to shift your thinking from selling to I help people solve their problems. And the conversation I have, the enrollment conversation or the sales conversation, is a mechanism to help a prospect decide if they're going to choose me to solve their problem. And when we wrap our head around that, it changes our energy, because most of us do want to help people, right? Like, I know that's you. It's definitely me. And so if we can start to wrap our head around that and get into a place that starts to feel less icky, less manipulative, less whatever, and more so in alignment, like, okay, I'm going to invite somebody to a process that I know is going to solve a problem. Great. I can do that all day long. So mindset is the thoughts we think. Energy is exuded from our confidence, our passion, our sense of purpose, and our clarity that we can help somebody. And we're going to have a dance between the mindset and the energy all day long. Now, confidence comes from repeatedly having wins, right? And I know a lot of people, like, they haven't been having wins. The sales process has felt kind of sticky to them. It's not like they're kind of wondering like if they're doing it right, or maybe there's a better way to do it, or maybe they're getting great results, but they're like having some conflict about how they were trained to sell. They're realizing, man, I'm kind of manipulating and pushing people, and that doesn't feel good. So whatever the thing is, one thing I know that's true is confidence goes up when resourcefulness goes up. And if you have a better system, it'll help you do that. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about with the workshop. Now, let's get into the places that we have to guide our clients. So there's a whole section in here about the ways in which the energy our clients is feeling is playing out. And sometimes we have to have language, or we have to have frameworks to portray to a potential client to help them understand, like, you're going to have to shift your thinking to get more what you want in life. And I have to tell you, 9 out of 10 times, if somebody's in fear when they get to me in a sales conversation, I'm going to check and probe to see if there is mindset that's in the way of them getting what they want. And so this is a big part of stage 3. And one of the things we have to do is really discern what is in the way. Is it real? Like, this is not the right clients, not the right time. They don't, they are not going to be resourceful enough to be a yes right now. And we don't want to push people into a place that they're upside down and they have so much fear and so much angst that they can't be resourceful. But is it just simply mindset? And this is critical, because if someone else can help them achieve this, they'll hire them, they'll use them, they'll buy from them instead of you. So I love having the tools around this. Now, another section that I am covering, and I want to bring a couple pieces of this because it's just like, I was so excited to share this, is the non-spoken resistance that could be in the way. And again, this creates an energy of hesitation. And hesitation means they are lacking the confidence or the clarity to get to a yes. Now, this comes up once you've made an invitation to work with you. You've explained what the offer is, you've explained what the investment is, and all of a sudden it's kind of like the energy goes stale. The gap between saying yes is getting wider, and you're noticing like something's not right, and they're saying to you, I don't think I can do that right now, but they can't quite articulate why. And non-spoken resistance oftentimes is coming from a sense of fear. And So here are some of the ways in which I notice this shows up and I know the right coaching questions to ask. So I oftentimes get people to talk about it. People sometimes do not trust themselves to implement or follow through. So it's not about you. They're sitting there questioning, am I going to be able to do this? That's, and like this comes up in everything. Like this comes up with coaching with me. And it's why when I do my workshops, I actually do them in get it done fashion, meaning you're doing it with me. So there's no learn and maybe you'll implement it later. It's like, no, we're putting it together as we go. So how could you bring one of those elements into it and create ways for people to know what's there for them to resolve the friction that they're feeling before it like becomes a buying obstacle, right? Here's another really, really big one. And that's, I can't afford to make a mistake, or I can't afford to make another mistake. So this is something I talked about it a little bit in Misaligned Mentors when I did that video. There is an enormous amount of people who have not been guided to make great decisions, that make impulsive decisions that feel bad later. Like I was speaking with a woman not too long ago who joined my mastermind, and her unspoken resistance that I was able to get out into the spoken word and to address was that she had spent thousands of dollars on a mentor and felt like she got none of what she asked for, none of what was promised. So there was this fear of like, I don't want to make another mistake. I don't want to put a lot of money into something and not get results. So we talked through what that decision-making process was. And I had great coaching questions to ask her to address that fear and move her to confidence again. Okay. And then that tied into a third one. I've got like 8 on my list, but the third one is like, I'm not convinced yet that you can deliver. This is a big reason why people don't buy. And it's not because you can't, it's because the way people structure their sales conversations, and again, their own mistrust, but the way you're structuring your sales conversation is you're jumping into the offer too early. And so you haven't built that trust and that awareness of what you do well. So you're missing credibility stacking. You're missing some kind of a sales trigger that's educated them before they ever get on a consult with you. You're missing some form of aligning them with your ability during the sales conversation. So there's ways to reassure and reinforce the results you create or the process you're going to take them through and how it's going to get them what they want, and that you have a track record with that. Okay. So even if you're new, there's ways to do this. And if they're convinced, or they're not convinced you can deliver, by the time you get into the invitation, this non-spoken resistance will go whoosh and come up really strong. So there is always energy that's moving back and forth between you and the person you're in this conversation with. And the key is to get really, really clear and confident before you ever get into these conversations with how to navigate them, so that you're serving people at the highest level possible. Look, if it's not a fit and it's not a great, you can't really solve the problem in a meaningful way, then having the confidence to say, you know what, I don't think I'm a good fit. And I'm going to ask so-and-so to be your coach, or like, let me refer you to someone who's a better fit. Let me suggest these other resources that I think will be a better place for you to start. But if you are confident and you know you can help somebody, being able to confidently communicate that to them and help address the concerns and the fears and the obstacles that are in the way creates more trust, more connection, more respect, and that's probably going to lead to a yes. So as people who are really passionate about the work we do, our job is to get ourselves in the right mindset and the right energy, and then help your potential client get in that right mindset and that right energy. And that does take some practice. It takes some experience. I've been doing this for 21 years, and it took me, I would say, a good 10 of them to really get confident with this. And partially that's because I was sourcing from a lot of different places. I didn't really have a full system. I didn't really have somebody take me through this process in great detail. And I think also we've evolved a lot in a lot of the tools we have available to us. So now when I'm able to teach credibility stacking and some of the pieces of zero friction selling, we have better tools to do that. And there's been a lot of developments that make this work better. So I'd love to hear from you. Where do you think the friction comes up for you? Do you have your own personal friction in selling? Is that something do you think might be getting in the way? Do you have a place where you notice friction comes up in your sales conversations with the client that's creating hesitancy or maybe a lack of confidence to move forward? Let's see if we can shift that. And if you're hearing this and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'd really like to deep dive into this and get my system mapped out. I do this in VIP days. I do this with my mastermind, and this is a system I'm teaching to the Amplify Your Authority Inner Circle, and I'll do it live on August 25th. So if you're catching this before then, let's get you in. It's $197 for the month. If you want to keep going, great. If you want to be done, great. That's fine. But for $197, you are getting access to $10,000 worth of a VIP day and $2,000 worth of one-on-one coaching and systems that I've developed. So it's a great deal. And I don't sell it separately outside of doing my VIP day. But if you are recognizing this, time to really expand this muscle and strengthen this process so you can help more people get what it is that you do, let's get you in. AmplifyInnerCircle.com will get you access to the program. And it goes live on August 25th. I'm doing the in-depth workshop. And I would love to get you access to all the tools, the scripts, the resources, everything that I'm going to teach in the workshop. Plus, we're doing it get it done style. So you'll be working in groups to, even though we're doing this on demand, or sorry, online, we're doing this in an online space, we're going to work in groups to help make sure that you're getting this customized to you. I want it to feel authentic. And I think that's really what, coming back to energy, that's what makes this feel good, is feeling like it's an authentic extension of you. So I'll give you the bones and you'll customize it, make it yours. So love to hear where you notice friction shows up for you. And hopefully we'll see you in the Zero Friction Sales Workshop. It is going to be life-changing. Okay, bye for now.